Hallo und herzlich willkommen zur 50. Folge von Suzerain. Leider immer noch ohne Apfel. Heute haben wir Invitation to the Movie Premiere. Letzte Folge haben wir ein Meeting über unser gutes Ergebnis von 2 Folgen. I have been invited to an exclusive preview of Alfred Kripke's new film, The Morning Shall Come. Although I wasn't in much of a movie-going mood, it would have been unprecedented not to attend. With its massive budget and Kripke's directional cachet? This drama was set to be a milestone for Saltland's burgeoning film scene. Oh mein Gott, Alter, ich hasse es. Personally, though, I was just looking forward to spending some time with my family. It was a very hot, sunny day, as such drove us to the old capital. The film was to be screened in the historic cinema Anglais des Arloiries, the very first cinema in Saltland. Such as maxed out the air conditioning to keep the cathedral comfortable. I kept silent through most of our rides. On the H1, I couldn't get my mind off the results of the assembly vote. Frank fidgeted with his tie as he stared out of the window. Ignore him and talk to the end. Worried about the university exams, son? Since when do you care what's happening in my life? Ich hätte doch mit Diana reden sollen. You know, I'll support you whether you pass or fail those exams. What an honor, Your Highness! Frank, don't talk to your father that way. He's been working so hard for this country. Excited for the movie? Diana nodded happily. What about you, Papa? I know you're sad, but failure helps us grow, right? Yeah, danke Diana, I'm just fine. Everything's going to be wonderful from now on, right, Monica? Of course, let's just focus on having a nice time at the movies. Monica folded her arms. We drove on in silence. Ist sie immer noch pissed auf uns? Wir haben doch gesagt, wir machen's gut. Serge rolled down the sun-proof glass between us. So, we are about to enter Arloiries. We'll be at the cinema in a few minutes. Thank you, Serge. I took a brief look outside as Serge rolled the sunproof glass up again. I could see the many towers of Arloiries rising over what was left of the old city walls. In the distance, there were several planes flying towards the city. As they got closer to us, I saw that they were military planes that looked like Acacian design. They were probably headed for our new joint military base. Serge knocked on the glass and gestured forward. We were at the main square of Arloiries and the historic cinema Anglais. The Cinema of Angels was right in front of us. Is this the place? Yeah. It was an old Baroque-style corner building with walls that looked like marble from a distance. There were exquisite ornaments on each side of every window. Serge pulled the car to the entrance of the building, which was lit by vivid neon stripes in many colors. On the wall next to the entrance, there were painted the words, "Stop the oppression of bloods." Come on, let's get out. Serge opened the doors and we exited onto the red carpet. We were just about to enter the building when a journalist managed to block the path. Mr. President! Ich hasse es. How are you handling the defeat of the constitutional reforms in the Assembly? I'm going to keep fighting for my changes. This isn't over yet. Thank you, Mr. President. And were you aware that Plagasol will be present at the proceeding? Of course I was. Before she could ask anything else, the guards ushered us inside the theater. In contrast with the cinema's Baroque-style exterior, the inside was modern and sleek. with bare walls painted in black, red, and white. The film's cast and crew were already in the foyer with glasses of champagne in their hands. We approached the crowd and were welcomed by the producers and the event organizers. Yeah. Oh, the film director. A man walked up to us with quick steps. "Madam, Mr. President, it is so good to see you here." He gently bowed at Monica and shook our hands. It's an honor to meet you. I'm Alfred Kribik. Nice to meet you, Mr. Kribik. What's this? My predecessors told me you had expressed admiration for my work. Frank snorted. I glanced at him, and he innocently took a sip of his cola. It's very humbling to know that you've been watching and enjoying my movies. If you don't mind me asking, which one was your favorite? This one may be slightly different than my previous works. All of them are my favorites, Mr. Kribik. He laughed. You flatter me too much, Mr. President. I myself know they aren't all winners. Come now, just pick one. I love the Soulish Dream. Oh, really? Then you might enjoy this one too. I'll admit I didn't expect you to be such a Seinfeld. Frank looked me in the eye and struggled not to laugh. Why don't we take our seats? It's about to start. When at the screening room, the lights dimmed and the film began. It was a period drama set in the 1870s about a Scottish soldier who pursues a doomed romance with a widowed Bloodish farmer during the conquest of Belgium. I wonder briefly whether Kribik was commenting on my own treatment of the Bloodish people, but then he had finished filming long before I became president. As the credits rolled, I made an early exit to use the men's room. I was washing my hands and heard an unmistakable voice behind me. So, what did you think? Takin Sol leaned on his cane. He had the same frail appearance I'd noticed at the assembly meeting. Yet up close, I could still sense the raw magnetism that had kept him in power for 20 years. I found the plot questionable, but it certainly looked spectacular. What about yourself? Sentimental peplum for the enjoyment of housewives only. And for a pure piece, the script contained far too many anachronisms. Indubitably. I'm surprised to see you're still around, sir. What were you doing at the assembly? My country was about to make a rash decision. I couldn't simply sit by. It's not your country anymore. No? There was a glint in his eye. But why did you block my reforms? I will not let you and the bleeding heart idiot Richter tarnish my precious constitution. I'm doing this for the good of the country. Ha! Some of his spit landed on my cheek. You'll find out soon enough how your country repays you for your goodness. He slipped past me and out of the door. Sol's security staff and mine were now clustered outside the wardroom, forming a buffer against the large crowd that had gathered. That's Takin Sol! I heard someone scream. His guards closed around him and mine around me. By the time the chaos subsided, I was back in the car with my family, and Sol was long gone. Okay, interessant, also alles hier. Wir haben nächste Folge in Holzort 2 Sachen. Eine Epos eine machen und... Oh Gott, Ceremonial Duty. Das will ich auch so lange aufsparen wie möglich. Gut, aber dann würde ich sagen, was ist mit der Folge? Lasst uns ein Like und ein Abo da, wenn es euch gefallen hat. Schaut beim nächsten Mal wieder vorbei und...